right, who wants to hear about high-octane adventures and the latest and greatest on the motor scene? It's time to rev it up with John and Jess on Joy 1340.
Welcome back to Rev It Up with John and Jess, coming at you on Joy 1340 AM and 98.7 FM.
Well, you're all excited today, and we'd like to thank our sponsors again, O'Reilly Auto Parts, Air Technologies, and ServPro.
Yes.
Out of Southeastern Wisconsin for bringing us all on the radio, too, and our podcast.
It's crazy that people like to hear us talk.
I know. It's. We want to thank all our listeners, and what do you call them, fans and followers, I guess.
I don't know if I'd call anybody a fan, but your followers, yeah. You have a lot of fans.
Yeah, for some reason I have no idea why. But hey, thanks for everybody following. I guess not only Jess and I, but Motor Mania and
Rev It Up.
My personal name and Rev It Up on Facebook. It's great. So,
yeah.
And again, we try to bring everything out that we like and enjoy about motorsports and around stuff that's going on. Trying to get too politically into things, but sometimes it slips that way and it happens.
Right.
But otherwise, we want to keep our stuff going on, and we had a lot of stuff going on this week in the world. So.
In general, or
in general,
in the motorsports world,
in motorsports world,
and the world,
motorsports world, and the world. We were kind of talking about a couple things, but I was just.
We're not going to get too political. We're just going to keep rolling. We got lots to cover today.
Right. So, all right. So we just came off of our little break from Motor Mania, right? Our races don't get started until August.
Yes.
So that's
August
good.
11th and 25th, which are Friday nights.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped about those.
I kind of keep forgetting about it.
I know. Well, it was funny because yesterday I was just telling you, we go to O'Reilly's for our sponsorship, and then yesterday, of course, we've also had AutoZone pick us up and do some things
for
too.
Sure.
And yesterday we talked to Mark, and he was going through, and he goes, "Yeah, when's the next races?" And I said, "Oh, I'll have to bring you in a poster." And he's like, "It's so funny because we get along with everybody, as everybody knows this, but it was so funny." He's like, "Yeah," he goes, "I'll hang your poster." He goes, "But I'm just going to have to black out that little O'Reilly's thing in there, And I said, "Well, I can call the printer."
There's room for more.
So now we're going to add one on there for him for his poster. So
cool.
I got to do. Mark is such a great guy.
He did start it off with like helping my mom on a personal level and then rolled it into the business. It was real nice.
Yeah, we got to go up there and shoot a little video with him. He's such a great guy. He's off
so
today.
Nice.
But he's off today, what he's doing stuff. But, yeah, he gave us some more giveaways for the kids because he loves giving, make sure we got plenty of toys for the kids at our events and stuff like that. So anyways, you've got a cool subject I like.
I kind of do. I stumbled across it, and I basically found celebrities who race. Like, there are a couple obvious ones, but then there's a couple that I was like, oh, really? For real? They race too? So I made a list.
Yeah, you brought this up to me before, and I knew some of the obvious ones.
Like, right. I had you guess.
You had me drawing a blank the other day, and I'm like, yeah, who's the guy who's got his own dressing? Like, I knew him for years. My dad used to watch him. I'm like, and you're like Paul Newman, dummy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but of course we all know Steve McQueen.
Yep.
But you got a great list here, and there's some I had no idea. So
right.
I guess one of the oldest ones, I know you have them in order, but I guess one of the first ones that passed away that I'd like to start with is pretty neat. Can we start with James Dean?
Sure, and just to let everybody know, this is not an all-inclusive list, and it's in no particular order. So.
And we know there's a lot more celebrities. Again, we're not experts in the field. We don't. It's just stuff like that we have to discuss, and people have brought it up to us like, hey, this is a great subject to do. And any of the subjects you guys want us to talk about or bring in, again, email Jess and I or get a hold of us. And we love discussing some of this stuff. Like, this is a great one.
Like, this is the stuff I really do enjoy because I learned so much. I'm like, oh, really? Like little details and stuff I didn't know about prior. So go ahead and start with your guy.
So, all right. So James Dean, obviously, famous movie actor, Rebel Without a Cause, right? Everybody knows this whole thing. But James Dean was a avid race car driver all the time. And you and I were just over in Nashville, Gatlinburg, right? Gatlinburg at the museum, and one of his cars.
SAR cars, yep.
Yep, so his is over there. So the Porsche 550 Spider named Little Bastard the same year Rebel Without a Cause came out in 55. That was actually built by George Barris. You remember we did a little video of that one? And it was up there with all the other cars. So
now, is that one a replica, right?
They said it was one of the real ones. I think it was a replica though, because they said they had a lot of the original cars there. So I'm not really sure. I don't want to quote that or not, but I thought it was one of the original ones because they had a lot of the pictures there. So, so you never know. But yeah, so you did this one, but so the same year Rebel Without a Cause came out in 1955.
That's the year he bought himself Little Bastard.
A Little Bastard, yep. So it's so crazy, like you couldn't, nobody can name their car Little Bastard right now. Put again our day and age that we live in.
Right.
But yeah, you wrote some great facts there. So he showed incredible promise as a racer, winning his class in his first race. He dreamed of racing in the Indy 500, but realized racing would have come second to movie career when Warner friend hand tracks was just filming Giant. So, and he was on the races. A lot of everybody started in California, so Salinas, California. So Into the Spider, and that was.
Yeah, he was on the way to some races in Salinas, California, when the Spider was in an accident that tragically ended his life.
Do you remember? I mean, we can look it all up, but was there? We know how old he was when he died.
In his 20s.
He was only 24 or 25.
I think it was 24.
Yeah. So.
And a little sad fact about the guy that he hit.
Yeah.
Because he hit somebody.
Yeah.
Like, the guy never recovered from it, and he tried to commit suicide twice. It was, like, really sad. But then he ended up...
See, nobody ever hears these parts of the stories.
He ended up... He attempted it twice, but he ended up surviving. But I think he died in the 80s in another car crash, is what I think it was.
The guy who James Dean hit?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
See, that is crazy to me, all these little facts that we don't know about.
Right.
And people are forgetting this stuff, and obviously we've had, a lot of famous actors, and they're still doing stuff, so that's one I want to start with. So do you want to go oldest to the latest?
Well, I don't know time frames here,
Okay.
but, like, one guy that I was surprised was Brian Johnson of AC/DC.
Yeah, that one's surprising when you brought that out.
Yeah.
Maybe I heard that before, but I wasn't really sure about that.
So he raced vintage cars and drove in the Rolex 24 at Daytona. He's been on Top Gear a few times and hosted his own car show, Cars That Rock, with Brian Johnson. Have you ever heard that?
I've never heard of that one before.
It's on the YouTube.
And now it's on the YouTube, on the old World Wide Web. So.
And he actually told Howard Stern that his hearing loss came from sitting in a race car for too long without earplugs, not from rocking out on stage.
Really?
I believe that.
And well, yeah, because we know how the loudness.
Yeah, I thought I had some permanent damage at one of our races recently.
Oh yeah. I've already cracked the eardrum over the years, so it is pretty crazy though. But Brian Johnson, I would have never thought that.
Me either.
But there's a lot of them. It's funny, cars and rock and roll all go together.
Yeah.
Like we talk with ZZ Top and their famous cars and
the
stuff.
Van Halen guy. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. I can see his face.
Which one? Eddie Van Halen?
No, the lead singer. Why do I feel like I'm on charade?
Oh, David Lee Roth?
No, the other guy.
I'm kidding with you. I know who it is. I just wanted to mess with you.
What's his name?
So,
You don't know either.
the Red Rocker? Come on now. Sammy Hagar?
Yes, Sammy Hagar. Oh my God, I suck right now.
You were stumped there for a minute. I'm like, you know this guy's name.
Totally. Because I was watching his show. His show was really fun.
Yeah. Oh, he's great. Sammy Hagar's great too. I mean, he's got a crazy car collection.
Yeah.
Down in Cabo. So
he's a fun guy.
He does all this stuff. Yeah.
A fun guy.
A fun guy. Well, as long as you're on that with Brian Johnson, I mean, one of the biggest ones that everybody would know that he's always his movies, everything he's always done, and of course, his iconic car. Everybody's got to bring up Steve McQueen.
Oh, for sure.
That was one of the biggest ones. Everybody always knows about the Mustang 390 GT, of course, in Gone in 60 Seconds, Bullet and all that stuff like that. So,
did you just say Gone in 60 Seconds?
Steve McQueen, if I'm quoting it right way. Okay, so Bullet was the car.
Okay.
Bullet was the green 390. And if you, we don't have our laptops out here, but we have it in front of there. So,
because the iconic racing in the Mustang 390 GT was Le Mans.
Yeah.
But I guess his true love was racing motorcycles. And he once said, "I'm not sure whether I'm an actor who races or a racer who acts," which I thought was pretty cool.
I don't know if he was. I don't know if he. Well, I mean, he was an actor, of course. Obviously that. But he was good.
But he competed in a number of races, including the Baja 1000, Mint 400, and the 1964 six-day International Motorcycle Enduro in Germany.
Right. So it was and so just to refresh things, so Steve McQueen was the original actor in the Mustang Bullet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what they renamed Eleanor for when Nicolas Cage did.
Okay.
So when Steve McQueen did that, and it's the famous race between the Mustang and the black 69 Charger. Okay. So that was the famous race through the city. So that was the most iconic car chase races in movie history.
Mm-hmm.
So Steve McQueen drove Bullet, and he did all the stuff, and he was going all the way through there. So that was his thing, and that was the first original Gone in 60-second movie.
Oh, got it.
So that was that, and of course Cage brought it up afterwards, and I actually got, give that the credit that Nicolas Cage that was actually one of the best movies I ever think they actually recreated with him. So I liked it. So.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, so I know for a fact he's competed in everything. I don't know if he did that while I was looking up there, but the Baja 1000, the Mint 400, he was a big off-road racer too.
Okay.
Yeah, huge off-road racer. Yeah, and then of course he did motorcycles, so he did everything.
Mm-hmm.
He did road racing, off-road, and endurance, so that was huge.
Mm-hmm.
So, And that brings up to your next, iconic old dude that he's an actor, too. He's a great actor, too.
Talking about Paul?
Paul Newman.
We just drank his lemonade the other day.
You don't talk about somebody's an entrepreneur. Holy cow.
Yeah, that guy
that is great.
Dabbled in a couple of things.
Yeah, good Lord. People call us entrepreneurs, but wow. He's done everything from acting, all that stuff like that, but he was going through with the Indy 500 and all that stuff. He's done a lot of great stuff,
Yeah, it says he discovered love for racing after starring in Winning, a movie about a guy who dreams of winning the Indy 500. After filming, Newman went on to form his own team called Newman Haas Lanigan Racing.
Okay.
They became the most successful IndyCar team of all time. He went on to win the SCCA National Championships and competed in endurance races. At 70, he was the oldest driver in a winning team during 24 hours of Daytona. He continued racing until days before he died and always used a racing number that matched his age. That's a little fun fact.
That's cool, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, did you find it? You didn't find it when he came with the salad dressing yet?
No.
Or the lemonade?
I don't, but thank God he did. That stuff is tasty.
Oh, I know. He's really good. I mean, I like all with the ranch and all that stuff, but yeah, and I mean, of course, and he had, I don't know how many great movies, that he had all the years. So that's, so that's pretty crazy. You got a good list here.
He was in Cool Hand Luke, right? That was him?
Yep, where he ate all the hard-boiled eggs.
Hard-boiled eggs.
Yep. My dad used to, where that was a big joke back in the day. I mean, you remember Cool Hand Luke, all this stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
So do you remember the snake scene where he said, "I'm shaking it, boss. I'm shaking it, boss"?
I don't think so.
So the warden was the guy with the black sunglasses,
mm-hmm.
and it's always a famous quotes on there. So is the discipline thing or whatever. You always see the famous quotes on it. But every time he would go there, and then at first they couldn't break him at all, and then he figured his only way to get out of prison is to befriend the warden.
Sure.
And then he was sucking up
Makes
to him
sense.
all. And then all of his buddies, all his prison mates were like, they couldn't stand him.
Mm-hmm.
And they knew he was trying to escape the whole time. So then what did he do? He goes, "I'm shaking it, boss, I'm shaking it." He goes, and he said, "There's a rattlesnake." He said, "Go get it, Paul." So he went over there, and he's in the bushes. And he's like, "I'm shaking it, boss, I'm shaking it, boss, and shoot over here, shoot over here." So he kept shaking it and doing whatever like that. And what he did is, I think, don't quote me wrong, but I think he tied a rope to the tree.
Sure.
And his buddy, who was on the other side, was shaking the tree,
mm-hmm.
and he shot it, and he goes, "They get him, Paul, they get him, Paul." And here he already took off running towards the creek and all that stuff, and he took off running.
Gotta be crafty.
They always caught him all the time, though, but, he was crazy for that. So what do you got? Who do you got next?
Tim Allen.
Tim Allen.
Yeah.
That's one of the famous guys from Tool Time. I like him.
Tool Time, Toy Story.
Yeah. So
he is portrayed as a car lover in some of his TV roles, but he is in real life and has a pretty decent collection of cars.
Yeah. Tim Allen's he's been around for a while, and he's I always liked him doing stand-up, of course, and then, of course, watching on Tool Time and all that stuff. So what does he race?
So he spent some time away from the cameras in the mid-'90s and raced a Mustang, including a stint at the 1997 24 Hours of Daytona, where he finished 58th out of 80.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, there was always a little joke on Tool Time. He'd always race the guy from This Old House.
Oh, really?
There was always
Bob Vila?
Yeah, he would. Yeah. There would always be competition between him and Bob Vila on there.
Oh, God.
And of course, Jay Leno would be on there.
Right.
He's buddies with Jay Leno and stuff like that. So yeah, he'd always have a lot of good stuff on there. But yeah, Tim Allen's great. Yeah, he's got he's always a great car guy,
mm-hmm.
all that stuff. So that's pretty interesting. So he's got, and I know he's got a big crazy collection. So,
mm-hmm.
So Tim Allen, and who are you reckoning down to next?
Craig T. Nelson, Coach.
Coach.
So, you remember the TV show Coach?
Yeah, of
he's
course.
Been in a couple.
With Dauber. I remember Dauber.
Yeah.
I don't know why they just came out. Right. So Coach, the actual. The main character.
The main
Coach.
character, yeah.
Okay, I don't know why Dauber always came in, because remember he was such a dork.
Yeah, I remember Dauber now.
And then the old guy? Yeah,
yep.
So I'm sorry, I just had to remember that, because I used to watch that show all the time.
So Craig T. Nelson first got behind the wheel of a race car at the 1991 Toyota Pro Celebrity Race at Long Beach. He finished 9th. The following year, he founded Screaming Eagles Racing, named after the football team in his show, Coach.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
So tied it together. Interesting.
He was voted IMSA's most improved driver, which he felt better than winning an Emmy. Screaming Eagles Racing entered the 24 Hours of Daytona 3 times, but never made it across the finish line. Neither would I, because I'd be sleeping. The best Screaming Eagles result was 5th place in the 96 Grand Prix of Atlanta. Their last season was in 97.
Wow. Some of these guys, it's funny, because we even notice at shows and trophies and stuff that we give away at our events and everything we have. These guys love the trophy and the accolades that they get for winning and do whatever. And it's better than anything they've ever done before. So that's
Plus, there's adrenaline involved. I don't think there's a lot of adrenaline involved in acting unless you're doing stunts.
Well, if you go through and you're shooting stuff over and over again, it kind of gets,
right,
the
for sure.
adrenaline's kind
Boring.
of going, but yeah. So next up, you have Eric Bana.
Yeah. Do you know who that is?
No, I'm
The
trying
dude that
to...
plays the Hulk.
Plays the Hulk in which one?
Oh, girl, I don't know which one.
Well, there's been so many Hulks.
I
mean, you tell me Hulk, I'm old. But I'm like, that's not Lou Ferrigno.
No, it's not Lou Ferrigno. No, for sure.
So Eric Bana is the one who plays the Hulk in probably the newest one.
The newer ones,
okay.
yeah. He's kind
I've
of the
heard
shorter
of the name.
guy.
Yeah, okay.
He grew up in Australia.
Okay.
He's been involved in racing and rallying for as long as he's been acting and raced Porsche cars for a while.
Okay.
He's known for his 74 Ford XB Falcon.
Wow, look at that.
In the movie Love the Beast, he documents rebuilding the Falcon and then proceeding to crash it during the Targa Tasmania rally, whatever that
Look
is.
at that.
Sounds fun, though. Sign me up.
Wow.
Out in the Outback.
Eric Bana, look at that.
Yeah.
Okay. And we've got, so this guy I know.
Frankie Muniz.
From Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah. The kid.
Okay, the kid.
Malcolm.
And like any kid, he's always had a passion. So he drove the Daytona 500 pace car in 01. Wow. Mm-hmm. And then he didn't start racing until 04 in Pro Celebrity Race in Long Beach, California.
They stopped doing the Pro Celebrity Race. I looked it up. I didn't know it was a thing. They should start it up again.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. I figured they were going to, safety, blah, blah, all this other stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So, but so you got in there, he managed to grab the number 3 spot in the podium, huh?
Mm-hmm. He then signed a 2-year contract with Jensen Motorsports, but failed to score any points in the 2006 season. He kept racing until 2009. In 2011, he made a comeback to the Toyota Pro Celebrity Race. He started the race in 15th and crossed the finish line in 4th, which is not too shabby.
Wow. So, and he's still racing today?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't quote me on that. I don't know 100%. Okay. I've seen pictures of him, and it's usually by a race car, so I can only assume that's
it seems like a lot of them do. Like they want to, I think a lot of people, as soon as they hit a certain stardom or accolade, they want to either get sponsored a racetrack or do whatever, sponsor race car drivers or any of this stuff.
Well, once you make it, then you can do whatever you want to do.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Is that what you're sponsoring everything right now?
I do sponsor a lot.
Just like, we're doing this. We're not, there used to be me, but it's really her.
Right.
You just show up and do stuff. So, so the next one, I guess he's a little bit older, but Nick Mason, the drummer of Pink Floyd, huh? Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about this gentleman, but I guess he's got a serious car collection.
Okay.
And all of his vehicles have been raced or plan on being raced in the future. He does all of the racing himself. He's competed in 24 Hours of Le Mans several times and regularly shows up at the Goodwood Festival of Speed, of which I think we need to do a show on the Goodwood Festival of Speed, because have you ever heard of it?
I've heard of it, but
Good
give me some details.
Golly, Miss
Give everybody
Molly.
details.
No, that's for a separate show. That seems like an amazing event.
Yeah? Where's it at?
UK.
Okay. Nice.
I think I have it in my notes here because I even made a point.
Yeah, you got it in there?
Yeah. 30 years and ongoing, July 13th through the 16th, 2023. Okay. It's an annual motorsports festival in England featuring modern and historic motor racing, vehicles taking part in hill climbs and other events. It's huge.
I thought we were going to touch base on that, but you kept going anyways.
I know. I got excited about it. That's why I had
it. You get all excited about this history stuff. You like history.
I love history. Goodwood Festival of Speed. A few years ago, he crashed his McLaren F1 GTR at Goodwood. Only about 100 F1s were ever built, and of those, only 20 were F1 GTRs.
Wow.
Which were the race versions of the street car. It did not stop him from driving fast, the crash.
It did not drive him? It's not a self-driving car?
No.
Are you sure?
I'm stumbling over my words today. I got lots to say.
Yeah, I see that. So you're about halfway through. So who's your favorite one so far?
Who's my favorite? I don't know. I'm just really blown away about the whole Brian Johnson thing.
That's a different one for me. Yeah, that one I didn't know. Yeah. So you've got, all right, so you're going all the way through back there. So up next you've got
This one shocked me.
Which one?
The next one.
At the top of the list?
Yeah.
Well, so do you go through at the, well, I don't know if you can really say that name. You'd have to go, because when you're racing,
just read what I wrote. Caitlyn Jenner.
Caitlyn Jenner, a.k.a. the Bruce.
The Bruce. After the 76 Olympics, and this is the way it was written, so don't come at me. Bruce Jenner was rich and famous, so being able to do whatever he wanted, he chose to get behind the wheel of a race car, like we just kind of talked about.
Yep.
After winning a celebrity race, Jenner was hooked on driving fast around a track. He studied up on racing and went to test with a pro team, making a professional debut in a BMW M1 at the 24 Hours of Daytona in a mere 10 months after his celebrity race.
Wow.
During the 80s, Jenner kept racing and won his class at Sebring, but was never fast enough to leave that celebrity status behind. Would never have pegged it.
Never pegged it?
No.
Huh. He actually did a lot. I mean, he was quite the icon back in the day.
Oh, for sure.
Know? Yeah,
For sure, very talented.
And he's still making headlines of what he's
Absolutely.
doing today with the Caitlyn thing,
Mm-hmm.
So he's going through. This guy I knew about, Patrick Dempsey. I knew he was a big race car fan.
Yep, lots of TV, lots of movies.
Lots of movies, and he's actually brought into his movies several times where he's had, played the rich guy. I remember in Transformers, he played a guy at the car collection.
He always plays the rich guy because there's a Sweet Home Alabama, too. He was
the rich
guy.
He's good for a spoiled rich guy.
He looks like one.
He looks like a spoiled rich guy, And hey, more power to him. He can pull it off.
Oh, for sure.
And I mean, now he's now in his 50s or whatever. I just saw it, but this is crazy. He's participated in 68 races, including 20. I think all these guys, all these celebrities want, because they get the celebrity status, and everybody's like, oh, you're just a
dumb actor.
Dumb actor. So they all compete in Le Mans and see if they can do it.
Mm-hmm.
So he's competed in that, the World Endurance Championship, Grand Am,
lots of them.
ALMS, IMSA, Sports Car Championship, and during his competing, he drove a Porsche 911. Seems like a lot of them do. Mazda RX-8, Austin Martin Vintage, and Orica FLM09.
He got 9 podiums in total.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Bad. Yeah,
that's not bad at all.
No,
and these guys, they're going through and stuff like that. So that's really impressive, actually.
All right, next we've got Gene Hackman.
Oh, I always like Gene Hackman.
Oh yeah, he's a good actor.
Yeah.
Yep. He performed 60% of the stunts in one of the greatest chase scenes of all time in the movie The French Connection. Like Newman, he competed in a Formula Ford and the SCCA in the 70s. Later, he went on to secure a seat in the Toyota Celica run. In '83, he raced the 24 Hours of Daytona, which was the peak of his racing career.
Okay, Gene's still alive, right?
I was just going to ask you that. I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think he's passed.
Yeah. I was just going through and doing stuff, yeah.
Well, you can take the next one.
He's always got such good movies. What was the one where he was at? Well, he's had a couple of them.
He's got quite a few.
What was the one where they dismissed him as the...
You're asking me questions I can't answer.
There's a couple of them. There was I like the one that was Behind Enemy Lines. You remember that one?
Yeah.
That was with what's the blonde dude with a crooked nose?
Owen Wilson?
Yeah, with Owen Wilson.
Luke? No, yeah, Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson,
I get those
where he was in there, where he went and got him from behind enemy lines based on a true thing, and they relieved him of his duty.
Yeah.
So it was pretty neat. So, well, do you want to go to the biggest one, the next one? We'll skip this one, but we'll go to Rowan Atkinson. Because the other one will kind of get into a longer.
Okay. Rowan Atkinson, otherwise known as Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean. God, I can't take that guy seriously.
I know, right?
Because of his acting.
He collects cars and drives them on racetracks. He wrecked his McLaren F1 not once, but twice. But that doesn't reflect his driving skills, as the F1 is reportedly notoriously difficult to handle. He regularly shows up at the Goodwood historic races and other events around the UK. He's raced everything from vintage cars to modern Aston Martins. In the 80s, he raced a Renault 5 Turbo and has written for several car magazines.
Really?
Yeah.
So he's obviously, he's been, is there other movies he's acted in besides, I just know him from Mr. Bean.
I just know him as Mr. Bean, and I'm not a fan or anything, so I don't follow his work, but you can't miss his face. Like, everybody knows who Mr. Bean's face is.
Well, yeah, he's always got the goofiest faces on a show, so, hey, he went
right up there with me.
So he's from the UK originally?
Yeah,
or is he from?
I think so.
Yeah, he's originally from UK. So a Renault, that's the first time we brought this up in the 80s, which I can't believe Renault used to be such a big thing, Renault 5 Turbo, which is crazy, and he's been and he's written for several car magazines too. That's crazy.
Who would have thought, right?
Yeah, I don't even know. There's so then the next ones you're going to have up, so you got all these ones that are coming up. The next one's going to take a little while. So that one, you're probably going to introduce to on the next segment here.
Well, right, because we're running out of time, so we got to wrap this portion of it up.
So we're wrapping this portion up here, and we're going to stay on talking about this one. And you can listen to us on the podcast or watch the podcast. It's going to be aired on. Just bring it on. And we got a couple more to talk about here. Some interesting facts here.
So we're going to keep going. So thank you for tuning in to the radio show today.
Yeah.
We will hear you next time.
See you next time.